back to the Dominion War edition of Star Trek Club. It's me, Captain Logan, and to my left is Brandon Grimm.
Again, hello.
And once again, at Ops, it's Adam Meredith. How are you guys doing?
Subspace Channel.
Are you guys excited for more Deep Space Nine?
Yeah, definitely.
I know I am. We're going to do this twice a month, guys. So it is Star Trek night. It's a Star Trek Tuesday. Are you all right? You going to make it?
I don't know. I just started to die all of a sudden.
Do you need an antihistamine?
No.
Do you need a hypo spray?
Yes, I need a hypo spray.
You need an antihistamine and a hypo
Dr.
spray?
Bashir, I presume.
Yeah, that's the first episode we're doing tonight, which is funny because last time with the first episode of that two-parter, we had that question. We were like, "Oh wait, have they revealed Dr. Bashir's genetic engineering yet?" Spoiler alert. No, I guess they haven't yet. That's the very next episode we're doing, and I think we have actually done a commentary on this episode before.
So
I think we did.
I think this came up in our streamed Star Trek Club a couple years ago, maybe.
As a matter of fact, I can de facto tell you that this episode is the one I've seen the most of DS9.
Yeah.
This episode.
Well, and like we watched it 2 or 3 times in the old in-person Star Trek Club, and this is probably one of my favorite episodes of the show. I can't remember.
Yes, I'm in on Hollow.
When we did our top 10 list for each series, I can't remember if this was on mine, but I want to say
I feel like it probably was.
I want to say it should be in my top 10, but I can't remember if I included it or not.
We should make new top 10 lists. It's been a few years.
Oh, I don't know. A lot of mine would be the same. Oh, we wasted like 10 shows with that. Do you remember?
No.
Yes.
Yeah, no, we've got that on record. I don't think we need to go back and redo that. Although we did kick around maybe doing a 10 worst for each series, and that might be fun. Or 10, sorry, worst. That was weird emphasis. Anyway, tonight before we get started, because it's been a while and I'm nostalgic, and I know Brandon will clap with glee like a seal. We're gonna do a quick stand replicator. Then we'll go ahead and get it. See, I just knew it.
Like a seal.
As soon as you said that, I was like, oh, I know what we're about to do. Like, yes.
Hey, before we get into that, let me just mention that right after the show tonight, Brandon and I are going to continue the Star Trek fun. Can I say fun?
Yes, you can.
And
I will allow it.
I guess. We're going to watch some more Star Trek Discovery for you. You can watch us riff on that show and try to make heads or tails of it. We've got to watch. We're going to watch the next 2 episodes. We were doing them one at a time, and it's kind of making more sense to do the Star Trek thing all in one night. So we're going to do that show twice a month as well, and we're just going to double it up, do 2 episodes at a time, and not talk as much up front. So that's our plan for that. So if you'd like to join us, you can join Patreon at the $2 tier is all it takes to do that. Patreon.com/Geekvolution, and you can hang out with me and Brandon and watch some new Trek, and then every other week, if time allows, we're going to keep Geekvolution After Dark going, and that's where we'll have more ostensibly intellectual conversation. We had a really good show last week, though.
I enjoyed it.
With that
Brandon rant.
Quite a bit.
I'm sorry, Adam. Brandon is coughing like a lot, and I can't hear you anytime you're talking. What were you saying?
The show where you let Brandon rant.
Yes, exactly. Are you sure you don't need a hypo spray?
Yeah, no, I'm good. I don't know what happened.
You know what? Every time he does that, I'm gonna psst. I'm gonna psst him. Okay, let's do a quick scan replicator, everybody. I am thinking of something. It has to do with Star Trek. I'm gonna go back and forth with these guys, and if anybody in the comments wants to ask a question, we'll give you a turn. When I see one, I'll just interrupt everything and let you guys have a turn. Yes or no questions, and we're gonna start with Brandon. I'm gonna make this a somewhat easy one so that we're not here all night, because Brandon and I have a whopping 4 episodes to watch, so we gotta get rolling here pretty quick. But I don't know. I miss doing this. It was kind of nostalgic, and I could tell Brandon was going to revolt last time when I didn't do it. So go ahead,
Brandon. Old classic question: is it bigger than Worf?
It is indeed bigger than Worf. Adam?
Is it alive?
It is not alive.
Is it a place?
It is a place.
Ooh.
Yeah. Great third question there, Brandon, because we don't do places all that often.
Nope.
Adam?
Is it a planet?
It is not a planet.
Ooh. Is it in the Federation? Is this place in the Federation?
No.
Oh.
Adam Marsh, Brandon beat you to the "Is it bigger than dwarf?" question.
Let me think here. So it's not in the Federation, not a planet.
But somebody remembered.
Is it?
Yep.
A city?
Nope, it's not a city.
Do we see it in the Delta Quadrant?
Nope.
Do we see it in the original series?
No, it's not in the original series.
Do we see it in Next Gen?
Nope.
Ooh.
Do we see it in Deep Space Nine?
No.
Do we see it in?
Oh, God.
Do we see it in Enterprise?
Nope.
Because of the movies.
Yes.
Do we see it?
Oh, was that your question?
Was that a question? I just heard you say movies. I don't know if that was. You're gonna have to speak up a little bit.
It's got to be the movies.
It is.
Or Voyager, because we hadn't said Voyager yet. But so okay.
You
so
said the
movies.
Delta Quadrant.
You did say
so
Delta
that would
Quadrant?
rule out Voyager, Brandon. In
Well,
my
I mean,
opinion.
okay, not every scene takes place in the Delta Quadrant, but
95% of
Fine.
that show.
Fine.
at
You're right.
least.
so is it my turn? Okay, is it in the is it in the original series movies?
It is in the original series movies. Yes.
Is it okay? Is it Nimbus 4, the planet of intergalactic peace?
That is Nimbus 3, but it is not. And that
That's
is.
what I was going to say, and he said it wrong.
Nimbus 3.
But that is
3,
also
the
a
planet
planet.
of galactic peace.
Oh, it is.
You remember he asked
That's
asked
right.
if it was a planet,
Oh,
and
I'm
you're like,
sorry.
"Hey, it's not a planet. Is it the planet of galactic
It's
peace?"
not a city,
Okay.
so it can't be Paradise City.
And it can't be Paradise City.
We
No.
can beam on down. Paradise.
Go ahead, Adam.
Is it a space station?
Nope.
Is it a space probe?
No, that would not be a place.
That would be a
though.
place.
Inside
really.
inside V'ger? Call it a place.
I wouldn't have called V'ger
A cloud, I
place,
guess.
though,
Oh,
yeah.
gas
Okay.
or
Go
whatever.
ahead, Adam. Just because you can go inside of it doesn't make it a place. I wouldn't call ships places either.
Yeah.
Just for the sake of this, like, go ahead, Adam.
Is
I'm not
it-
trying to throw anybody off here. Like,
let me think here. Is it? Here, can you walk on this place?
can you walk on it?
Yeah.
I'm gonna assume so. Yes.
Okay. Well, that's not a nebula or something. That's
No.
why I asked that.
No, that's a good question. Do you have a guess?
It's not a planet.
TOS movies, not a planet,
Is it?
not a station.
Not a city.
Is it the Genesis cave?
No,
Okay.
that's a good guess though.
Does Dr. Jillian Taylor work here?
Nope.
Ooh. Let me think here.
Do you have a guess?
No, that was my guess.
Okay.
Is it a prison?
No.
Is
All
it?
right.
Is that a planet?
I guess it's kind of a planet, but
Is-
then the prison's on the planet.
I thought it
so
was
it's
a
like
prison
Rura
planet?
Pinte-
Rura Pinte's both a planet,
is a
and the
planet.
name of the
Yeah,
prison
prison
on the
planet.
planet.
Yes.
I guess.
Well, I was just trying to remember if it was a planet or a moon, but I'm pretty sure it's a planet.
It's some kind of
That's no
thing.
moon.
We don't know.
Is this place on Earth?
No.
Okay.
Hum.
And we'll get to the
Wow.
episode soon, folks. If they don't get it pretty soon, I'll throw a hint at them. And
I'm trying to think.
Ooh, I have another
uh-oh.
guess.
Oh, Brandon might have it.
Is it like a kind of a rock in space?
Sure.
Is it Regula One?
No.
Or Regula, not Regula One. That Regula One's the station.
Okay.
Yeah,
now-
regular one's a station.
You said kind of a rock in space. Now my idea is dashed. Do we?
No,
find-
I understand. I'm literally answering his question.
Yes. Do we find it on Vulcan?
No.
I don't. Adam,
And
you're
it's
up.
in the TOS movies.
Yes. And I picked it because it's easy.
It's gonna be really easy.
We're gonna
be like,
we're gonna
oh.
be like
There's gonna be some kicking ourselves
Yeah,
here.
we're gonna kick ourselves.
Do we need a hint?
Yes, a hint.
Okay, the hint is when Brandon made the distinction between Delta Quadrant and Voyager, he's on to something there.
Delta Quadrant and Voyager.
So this is in the TOS movies, but it is also at least referenced in a Voyager episode.
Interesting.
That's weird.
And I don't think we actually see it, but that's your hint.
Wait.
Whose turn is it? I think it's Adam's turn, yeah? No?
I don't know. Yeah, it's Adam's turn.
It's referenced in a Voyager episode.
And I'll even go as far as it's more than referenced,
Yeah,
but I can't remember if we
think I know
technically
what
actually
you're-
see it. Do you have it?
I think I do.
All right. I don't have a guess. Brandon, you go.
Go ahead.
Does it involve Sulu?
Yeah.
Is it on board the Excelsior class bridge?
Well, that's more than one question.
Well, that's my guess. Is that the place? Is the Excelsior class bridge?
No.
Oh.
No, the Excelsior Bridge is not a rock in space.
Oh, you did say rock in space. Okay. Sorry, I lost complete track of where I was.
You sure
headed.
did. Yeah, you lost track of the whole game. Adam.
Gosh.
Oh, wow, he still doesn't have it.
Is it Praxis?
When Praxis.
Yes,
it's
Praxis.
Well, that's like
Because you said Sulu. I was trying to remember what it was they
That's
were
also
doing.
in flashback.
It's
yeah.
Praxis.
Yeah,
But
they talk about it in
They
flashback. They show it in flashback.
Here's what I was going to say. We're in the scene where it explodes.
Where it explodes,
but I can't remember if they show it or not.
Yeah, I think they show the. I think they
Praxis
do. I think they
rounds
show
ago.
the little half-gone planet on the screen,
I
the bad matte painting or whatever it is.
Or it might have just been a bright white light, man. I can't remember if they actually show
Well,
it.
they show a
I don't know. Yeah, I don't know where that
digitized
scene
dot
cuts off
impression
and
of it
stuff.
on the
Yeah.
screen.
But that's what I'm saying. I don't know if we use that, if we reuse the shot of it exploding or not.
Yeah, or if they show the view screen image of it or whatever and stuff.
But that's why I didn't want to come right out and say it's also there.
Yeah, that's a good one. I forgot about
But yeah,
that.
when he said Voyager and then you made the distinction with Delta Quadrant, I was like, well, this is a really weird instance where it's actually there.
Oh my God, Brandon, you were right.
Who would have thunk it? Once
Flashback
again,
in Undiscovered Country.
proving that the universe is flat.
Is that what that proves?
I don't know.
How does that prove
I was
that?
just trying to come up with something, and I was going to say
I don't understand how you just proved that.
I picked words out of the air.
Is that going to be the name of your autobiography? Words out of the air.
Oh, world.
Wow.
All right, let's go ahead and watch Dr. Bashir. I presume this is our third episode in our series. This is episode 16 in season 5. We started right in the middle of season 5 to go through the Dominion War. We haven't. What is funny about that?
Episode 16 of season 5, when lots of shows don't go past 12 episodes these days or less.
Okay. Anyway, let's just go ahead and get into it. Get it at timestamp 0. Get ready to press play when I say now. We're just about to do that. Let me get a timer on this screen. You know what? I was going to do that last time, and I didn't set it up.
1 second, my thing is being weird.
And I don't think I've ever actually set that up for them. Okay, I will try to do it for sure next time. But it's going to take too long right now. We need to get into this. So if anybody needs a timestamp, let us know. I know they're not.
Why is this not? Oh, sorry, give me one moment. I'm having problems
issues?
with my DVD player. It's not showing up for some reason.
Should we test run Star Trek Club before we have
I guess
Star Trek
so,
Club?
yeah. Here, let me go back to the menu. There's the menu. All right. Okay. And give me a second. Why is this game so weird? It like crashed on me. I'm sorry.
He picked the disc so he wouldn't have issues with
And I
streaming.
wound up having issues. I know.
And now he's having issues with disking.
Yeah.
What have we learned? Technology sucks.
Apparently so. I guess.
what we've learned is that with the great power, anything is possible.
Okay, now it's working. I think. All right. Yes. I don't know. It was being crazy. Like. All right. Okay. Play. There.
Why couldn't you have done that during standard replicator?
I didn't think it would be a problem. Because it's the opening a DVD player shouldn't have an issue. You know what I mean? All right, I'm ready.
Oh, by the way, who won that round? Because we kind of both said it at the same time.
I heard Praxis from Adam before you, but you were like right there, but you didn't. I didn't hear you say it before.
Didn't commit,
Adam,
Brandon.
Congratulations.
I think Adam had it, but I don't actually know for sure.
Since I was saying it, I couldn't tell.
I'm just glad you guys got there eventually.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Are we ready?
Mm-hmm.
I'm ready.
Okay, everybody, please press play right now.
I still wish you'd say engage.
That's too cute.
Look at that outfit.
That's wild.
Yeah, I like the medallion.
It's just a little bit more crazy than what he usually wears, right? Like, it's the same
Yeah.
colors
Yeah.
as what he's usually wearing.
But it seems more dressy.
I guess, yeah, exactly.
an
I guess
occasion.
Ferengi can get away with tie-dye or something really similar to tie-dye. I don't know.
It's basically tie-dye.
I feel like it's a symbol of wealth for him.
Yes, that's exactly what it is.
It is. He wears a lot flashy. Even when before Rom was in the Bajoran engineering or whatever, he did not dress as flashy as Quark.
He was also basically a different character.
Yeah, he was when the show started.
Yeah. And we're maybe a couple seasons in now to the Rom that we know.
Yeah.
Right?
Oh,
That he'll become.
This is after he does the union and everything and stuff. Yeah.
So we're in an area here where we're setting up a lot of like major staples for the status quo for the rest of the series.
Yeah, this is like the episode for these two.
Because I always think of them as a married couple, and it doesn't happen until midway through 5.
Yeah.
Is the bartender always a Bolian?
No,
I
he's
don't
got a few
remember.
different ones.
Yeah.
In
And he's
fact,
got-
rarely do you see that bull.
Yeah. A lot of times there's other Ferengi.
It's usually Ferengi.
Okay.
What other species does he use?
I don't know.
A couple Bajorans here and there.
Okay, I don't understand, and I don't understand.
Did you see that fork?
I
I'm
did.
sorry.
It
Did
was
you see the
awesome.
crazy space fork?
It was
with the,
awesome.
We never
I'm
watched.
looking at that like I need to make one of those.
I guess we're probably not going to watch Bar Association, because I think this is already, like I said, has already happened. Why doesn't Quark have to abide by like Bajoran labor laws or anything like that? If he's on a Bajoran station, he has to provide by all other laws on the station. Why is he allowed to just like sexually harass people and like not pay people and stuff? You know, I don't get that.
Yeah,
maybe because
I don't really either. The
he
sense I
has
get,
threatened to take his business elsewhere.
that's what I was gonna say. Is that the sense I get is that Cisco gives him a lot of latitude because he wants him there.
Yeah,
Because Quark almost left in the first place at the start of
that's
the show.
true.
So this was a super cool way and really natural way to do a pseudo Voyager crossover.
Yeah.
This show really didn't get to do that.
Only this, and then the Mirror Universe episode that had Mirror
With
Tuvok
Mirror
in
Tuvok,
it. That's the only one I can think of.
Yeah, and that's like a cameo. He's not a big part of that episode or anything.
Right now, and then they also, I mean, in that one season 7 episode, they used the Voyager sets basically to beat that other Intrepid class ship where they go to Romulus on.
Right, but that hardly feels like a
doesn't really
crossover
count.
like
Yeah.
this does, because Zimmerman has been established in Voyager as a character. And what's interesting is this is where he's most fleshed out. And so when we meet him again in season 7, or even I guess before that, he's more the way he's characterized here, or is he, or has the thing with the Doctor sorry, I'm rusty. Has the thing with the Doctor sending himself to the Alpha Quadrant and helping save his life happened already?
This is season 5, so that's at season 3 of Voyager. So no, that wouldn't have happened. But even if that had, they didn't show Zimmerman in that episode, so he didn't actually. Oh, you mean the second time when he goes to save Zimmerman's life? That doesn't happen until way late in
No,
Voyager.
that's 7.
Yeah.
Okay,
yeah,
so
yeah.
no, I'm conflicted. Sorry, I'm talking about the same episode actually. Yeah. So no, so he is basically characterized here full on for the first time. I mean, like we had the hologram version.
Yeah, the fake. Yeah.
Where we had some idea of like his personality and stuff, but more of like who he actually is and what he's about is more established here. So anyway, I just think all of that is really cool, and it's nice, seeing kind of the if you're into Voyager and you've been watching that, just the juxtaposition in performances, because what he's doing here is totally different, but then you see the patterns of behavior that would inspire the Doctor Hologram.
Right.
So if I can say that intro is really, really neat, I think it holds up really well. The very beginning of the intro, when the camera pans through the back end of a comet tail, we have actually done that as a species now. Was it last year, I think? We actually took a thing and passed it through the comet, through the tail of a comet.
I always think guest appearance is a weird credit because it sounds like a cameo.
Right.
And he's the guest star of this episode. Well, he's one of 3 guest stars in this episode.
Right. Yeah, I always thought the intros to this time, of various Star Trek shows held up better than some of their contemporaries, because they're not showing like corny shots of people's faces and things like that.
Yep. No, simpler is typically better.
Is definitely better.
Yeah, the Stargate intros don't hold up the best. They're a little
Babylon 5 does the face thing too and stuff, but...
So yeah, I also just appreciate, the sense of continuity with this, because we haven't really talked that much about holodoctors in other shows.
Right.
Occasionally you'll do like a cute reference, and you've got the Picardo cameo in First Contact, but like by and large, we don't really we deal with more of them in Voyager.
Right.
With the EMH Mark II that we get after this.
Right. And then the ultimate fate of the other EMH Mark I's.
Yes.
Which I always thought was kind of a little crazy. I honestly
silly.
thought that was like, didn't they handle some of that stuff with Measure of a Man?
Yes.
You think?
No, the holographic rights thing with Author is, that episode is wonderful. I like it a lot, but I think it goes too far. I think it's an absolute double beat.
And I think there's a difference. It's not even Author's fault, because they show that reveal in the episode you were talking about, when the Doctor first goes back to treat Zimmerman at the end. Or, I mean, they don't show it, but they tell him, he tells him about the fate of the other EMHs.
And then when you actually see it is at the end of Author.
Yeah,
which is only like 6 episodes from the end of that show.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's kind of sad to think that the Federation, because of this technicality here with Bashir, ended up choosing as the model for the EMH Mark II Andy Dick instead of Julian Bashir. I want to know who Andy Dick was.
Yeah.
I want to know what real person Andy Dick was.
And how is he less annoying than Zimmerman using him as a template and stuff? Explain that one to me. They're like, we're getting one that's more personable.
This is supposed to be this is supposed to be this high honor where you need like one of the best doctors in the fleet. Right. I don't understand why it couldn't have just been like Leonard McCoy younger.
Right. And also, he was supposed to be like, oh, I'm so much of a better people person and all this stuff than the MH Mark I. He was exactly the same with the attitude and stuff, and the arrogance and stuff.
Yeah, and more irritating.
And more irritating, yeah. Than
Yeah.
Dandy Dick.
Now, of course, I'm joking with what I'm talking about because sorry, I was distracted for a second because now I'm thinking there's a difference between the EMH Mark II and the LMH.
Yeah, that's true.
So wait, did that episode happen
I think
already?
they just dropped
so there is a
LMH.
difference. He
No,
mentions it.
but that happens in season 4 of Voyager, and that would be season 6 of this show.
Yeah, this is the long-term medical hologram, so it is different.
So I guess they just kind of dropped that whole thing.
That's
trying to do this after
thing.
that. Yeah. Guess it didn't work out. They said Antedian. That's a reference to those fish guys in the TNG episode Manhunt.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
There's a deep pull.
Yeah.
Well, and this show loves early TNG. Like, you get the Iconian thing in season, 6?
I think that's earlier. I think that's season 4, maybe.
Is it? Where they do the gate?
Yeah,
no.
but
it's not that early.
Yeah, it is.
It?
It's like, because it's the first time they ever show Wei Yun.
You've watched all this more recently than I have, so I'll take your word for it.
I think Worf's in it, though, so I think it's 4.
I love bored, dead-eyed. Hasn't been programmed yet.
That was a cool shot.
That's also kind of...
It's a hysterical performance.
A similar thing that happens in a Message in a Bottle when they're trying to make a new doctor and stuff.
Yes.
And he's like...
Which is ridiculous. I don't buy that it's that hard. Not when you have like those kind of like secondary programs that they'll call up where it's like exactly the person,
right,
but in hologram form, and they do the same thing with Zimmerman in that show.
Right.
But when they try to replace the doctor, they can't do like I don't feel like it would be that hard. But I get for the sake of the drama, you have to do that. Oh, what I was going to say earlier is, I'm mostly just saying with the whole like, why can't you just pick somebody like Leonard McCoy thing? Like, for the sake of the fiction, I guess I understand that you're not going to be able to do that with that actor,
right?
But I'm just saying, like in the context of the fiction, why don't they just do something like that?
Right.
What, you mean just like pick the best doctor from the flagship?
Yeah.
Or from anywhere in history. It wouldn't have to be somebody recent.
That's true.
They can pattern it off of anybody. They do historical representations of characters in history as in hologram form all the time.
That's true.
I like this little POV shots here of asking them their opinions of Julian and stuff.
Yeah, I like the choice of first-person POV here.
Yeah.
In fact, here's the thing. If this was a more comedic episode overall, because there's this really nice balance, I should say, that struck in this episode between comedy and really serious drama. There's a wonderful tragedy in this episode.
Right.
But if this wasn't like the big reveal of the genetic engineering thing, I would say do this whole episode in like an almost documentary.
Yeah.
Kind of, I don't know what that sound was. In a documentary style.
They've never done a documentary episode of Star Trek where it's, they did on Babylon 5 kind of like twice with different like newscasts, but never on Trek.
Well, because we deal a lot with the media in that show.
Babylon 5. Almost, yeah.
Because it's not the same kind of utopian future you have in Star Trek. But then when you go to Generations at the beginning of that movie, curiously, it looks like the media is like exactly the way it is now. So.
Right. I mean, in the media in Babylon 5 is like, let's just take what we have with cable news in the night and just put it in the future and stuff.
Just remember that like they don't make a lot of progress in that universe because like their technology is a lot better and they've got telepaths and stuff, but they also still have Zima.
So let me ask you this: was that unethical what Dr. Zimmerman just did there, asking Lita out at the conclusion of his interview for his prospective client, if you will.
Probably.
Could be.
Because I feel like he only got that close to ask because she was in the same room with him because of this other thing.
And here's the thing. Even if it is unethical, it's completely in character for him to do that. So
Yes.
So it works.
It works
narratively.
It does.
I think you're right. I think it technically is really unprofessional. But his played as, I don't want to say like slimy, but like kind of underhanded, a little devious. Like he'll skirt around rules and stuff, and like he promises he won't talk to Bashir's parents, but he does that anyway. So like that guy, in order for his to get what he wants for whatever his means are, he'll do that to get in bed with a girl. Absolutely.
But I noticed this: he didn't actually agree to what Bashir asked.
Right. He just made him think that it was implied.
Yeah, he just kind of,
So that's what I'm saying. He's a little underhanded. He's half slimy. One of the reasons I love this episode so much is that, first of all, like I said, that balance between comedy and drama, you would never guess that this would be like the pivotal moment that would explain everything that never made sense about Bashir's backstory. Like you don't realize that's the episode you're watching. It's one of the best kind of like dramatic turns in a Star Trek episode. It blindsides you in a wonderful way, and it's not too plot twisty. Like it's just natural for it to happen when it happens. And secondly, it's maybe one of, if not the best and smartest retcons in anything ever. Because clearly, like, we're in the middle of season 5 here. Up until recently, this show does not know that that's his background, and it desperately needs it to make this character make sense. And it just it fixes everything that was wrong with this character. And my question to you, Adam, is how long did Bear know it?
I don't know. That's a good question.
Because I don't think it's arbitrarily decided right now. I think it's a thing he's got in his back pocket for at least this season. And I just wonder how... I don't know that for sure. But I just wonder how long he's had that in his back pocket.
Right.
Sisko has a similar response, and I like paralleling these two episodes, by the way, going back to family. Sisko has a really similar response to meeting Bashir's parents that Picard does to meeting Worf's.
Yeah.
You're not wrong.
This character is so interesting. His father.
Yeah.
Because you never meet somebody that's like, in Star Trek, that's like a failure. Really, that like this and stuff, that talks a big game that never is amounted to anything, and it's like basically, talks big basically.
And you would have that because if you don't make anything of yourself in this world, you easily coast.
Right.
Hey, Adam, have you ever seen the movie Inner Space?
Oh yeah.
So Robert Picardo plays a character in that called the Cowboy.
I remember, yeah.
He's hilariously farcical in that.
Yeah, I remember that, yeah.
Have you ever seen that movie, Cap? Oh my God. It's... Oh, who is... Who are the other two people in that movie? I'm trying to remember.
But yeah, this show is very often all about showing, the other side of Starfleet and the Federation, and like, not to undermine the utopia, but to make it believable, to make us buy. Like, it has to be difficult. We have to keep pushing up against it. After all, if we solve or pacify the human condition in order to make life easy and happy in the future, that is not a hopeful future. That's scary. That's bad. You don't want to wipe out what makes us ourselves. So how do we hang on to our humanity but also create enlightenment and better ourselves? And this show shows the other side of that and how difficult it is. So it's exactly like I don't want to see Superman or Captain America easily being able to hang on to their values. I want them challenged. And that's what this show did. So you need stuff like that. You need the other side of that. You need the guy that kind of just coasts through life and is taking advantage of the system.
Right.
But he's also really sympathetic.
He's also somebody that does have desires and he wants to succeed, but he's just somebody that's like he's got big dreams, but it's never really worked out for him. And
he's too scatterbrained. He doesn't focus on any one thing. He wants fame and recognition.
Follow through or whatever. Yeah,
it's the jack of all trades, master of none thing.
Yeah. I mean, and we've had people that are like kind of screw ups in Star Trek, like Tom Paris, but they like had a redemption arc and things like that,
and that doesn't happen for this guy. He goes to prison. He pays for it.
No, or straight up bad people. We've had that before, but not just the guy that's just. I guess you'd call him kind of a slacker.
Kind of sad, pathetic, Well, he's always looking for the easy way out. And I love the way this works backwards with that idea where it's like, okay, like I can kind of see this in a writer's room, right?
Right.
Bashir we're going to find out, has been genetically engineered, and that's why he is as smart as he is and able to do everything he can do. His parents decided to do that, and it's against the law, and then we can also have a nice bit of continuity to go back to eugenics and all of that.
Right.
And so if like what kind of father would do that? And so in creating that personality for that guy, you can see how jumping around from job to job, project to project, looking for the easy way to fame, you can see how that mentality would lead you to the easy way to solve all of your kids' problems.
Right.
It's so relatable. And what makes it so sympathetic is he really was just looking out for his kid. He was just super misguided.
He really did want to do what's best, and he had all these dreams for his son that he never basically achieved and stuff too. So definitely that was part.
Hey, quick question: is this episode so far the most screen time Lita has gotten in one show?
Probably. I mean, well, she had a lot in Bar Association, I think, but this is probably one of the most.
She's got more of a full-on subplot here than she even did in Bar Association, I think. But I can't remember how much is done with her in that.
Yeah.
Oh, he's way mad forward in this episode.
Bar Association is one of my favorite Trek titles because it's such a silly pun and stuff.
Hey, I'm sorry. I've got to run off for just a second. I'm going to ask you guys to hold the fort for a minute.
Sounds fun.
In my defense, I'm pretty sure we've done this episode before. And I'm also wondering how much of what we've said already we said in that last show.
I mean,
probably did.
I don't know.
Yeah.
All of it. All of it. Brandon even brought up inner space last time. Okay, I'll be right back.
Brandon brought up inner space last time. But Brandon, it was Dennis Quaid and Meg Ryan and Martin Short.
Dennis Quaid, Martin Short. Thank you. Yes. Wait, that was Meg Ryan?
Yeah.
How did I not realize that? Oh, my goodness.
This guy played Babu on Seinfeld.
Yes, he does.
The guy that played the father.
Has she been in
anything
else?
I don't know. I've never seen her in anything else. I don't know who she is.
Ugh. I kind of hate how this is all found out.
Yeah. Landscape architecture.
Landscape architecture. I want to see what kind of landscape architecture.
Apparently parks.
Urban planning seems like.
Yeah.
Ooh. So why is Dr. Zimmerman trying to complete the psychological profile? He's a hollow tech.
Well, I guess he's engineering it, so I guess he's got a hands-on approach.
Someone else should provide him with a psychological profile, and then he can program the darn thing. But
I don't know. I guess he's for hands-on. I don't know.
He doesn't strike me as the person who should be overseeing this.
Yeah. That's a good...
So I love how it takes us a while before we even know what's going on in the scene.
Right. They don't even reveal it here. Now we know something's going on, but not.
Yeah. Well, you can start to piece it together.
Yeah.
When they're talking about his intellect, but.
Right.
I think it's possible some people might have kind of half figured it out by the time it's fully spelled out. But it's a wonderful example of a show not holding your hand too much.
No.
And making us a fly on the wall. It's wonderful.
Right.
There's some great writing 101 stuff in this episode.
I like how Ram is kind of, at a loss for words, but Lita seems like the kind of person who wouldn't be able to fill in the blanks. So they kind of can't read each other at this point.
Well, I think she's just waiting for him to get gumption and be proactive is all. It's not that she can't fill in what he's trying to say. She just wants him to... It's just the typical, woman waiting for a man to act.
Yeah.
So I kid you not, when I was a kid, I guess I would have been about a teenager when this came out. I needed this episode before it even occurred to me that Bashir was Middle Eastern.
Oh yeah.
Because I just never thought about it. I wasn't really paying attention to his complexion.
I didn't realize that.
What his face looked like or anything. It was just he's got a British accent, so I assumed he was British.
British accent, right? Bashir. I guess it is a common name, but I didn't know that at the time. Either as a kid.
No,
yeah.
I didn't know that. I had not encountered a lot of anything from India or the Middle East or anything. Until I actually dated a girl later in high school whose parents were from there, and then it became very clear to me. And then I felt really dumb, where I was like, "Why did I think he was British? He's clearly not, or at least not ethnically British."
Yeah.
So they created a genetically modified individual and are seemingly not proud of him, the person. They seemingly have a more I feel like they're riding a moral high horse for their own doings and not for what Julian has accomplished, despite what he thinks is a failing of himself.
No, that's not really true.
I think they're proud of him.
And that will become clearer as the episode goes along.
Yeah.
It's more just that tensions are really high in this moment because
that's true.
If
that's hard that Miles was involved in this
which
too.
Is what happens.
Yeah, so why wouldn't Bashir just understand that innately that they are not going to say anything for his own good?
Yeah, I mean they didn't do it on purpose.
Yeah.
It was just eavesdropping.
No, I get that.
Yeah, I'm not sure what you're talking about.
No, but Julian, why did Julian bring it up in the first place to them, asking them to keep it private? Well, they were going to keep it private.
I guess that's fair. He was just covering his bases.
Yeah, he was probably, scared.
Well, sure.
Well, the thing is, they're going to keep it a secret from the authorities.
Right.
But his worry is, if this guy is too charming and they trust him, they might let it slip thinking that he'll keep it a secret.
Right.
Maybe.
No, look at it from his perspective, he would be paranoid about that.
Right, it's probably the thing
because
kept
his
secret
life
his
and
entire
his
life.
parents' lives are over if they say anything.
True.
I'm sorry, what, Adam?
So it's something he's kept secret his entire life, basically, and his whole career.
And he's also ashamed of them, or at least his father, and that's why they don't speak.
This teacher didn't do good. It didn't catch on, apparently. I guess they say they switched schools. I think so.
Yeah, and I feel like by the 24th century, they would have been able to pinpoint those kind of learning disabilities a lot more easily. Like,
Right.
I don't know if I really buy that they wouldn't have just been able to nip that in the bud real quick. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, oh, he's got some sort of like visual dyslexia or whatever it is, and then address it.
Unless it was an intellectual disability, they couldn't.
Well, I feel like they're pretty ambiguous about what exactly the disorder is. Like they don't name it.
Right, that's true.
Or I don't think they. I mean, we're talking over this. I don't think they name it.
No, they don't.
I also sympathize with how difficult it is to write like these kinds of stories in this kind of conflict in a future where we've resolved a lot of stuff.
Right.
And I mean and I don't mean societally, I mean medically.
Yeah, it's kind of crazy that the genetic engineering ban is almost like Star Trek's version of Dune and like the Butlerian jihad and ban of all complex computer technology, because it's like become like a commandment almost to not ever do this again, otherwise we might wind up with Khan.
So
or the stupid thing with Romulans and robots and Picard.
Yeah, kind of like that thing. I forgot about that.
Because it's that whole thing. But I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Would it be off base to say that I find it weird that they didn't immediately arrest Dr. Bashir because of their prejudice against modified genetically altered humans?
What do you mean?
Like I would think
when? As a child?
No, just now. When like, why wouldn't Robert Zimmerman have immediately?
His name was not Robert Zimmerman.
Robert Zimmerman.
Sorry, what is his first name?
I think his name is Louis Picardo.
Louis Zimmerman. Louis Zimmerman. Wow. Well, anyway.
So,
I just feel like when he reported this to Starfleet Command, they would have taken him into custody, despite his record. Sorry.
Louis Picardo.
Well, I think the way they get around that is the point that O'Brien is making in this very moment, because this has not happened in 100 years.
Yeah.
I can resign.
But I'm sorry. Let me go out for a second and explain your point, because it's not public yet. Like, who should be arresting? I don't understand what you're talking about. Like, who knows?
They call Odo.
Immediately ran to Sisko's office,
Zimmerman
but he did
told
not do
Starfleet
that.
Command, didn't he? Or
not yet. Bashir just said Zimmerman hasn't made a report yet.
Oh,
I don't know what you're talking about.
Well, when they find out,
this is Bashir trying to get ahead of it. He's like, do we tell everybody? Like, how do we get ahead of this?
Did you see that? I guess that snail juice. They it was like a glass full of conch shells. Did you see?
Space ice. Frontier space ice.
Thomas Lowe, would you guys prefer the cast of Deep Space Nine to return in an animated movie the same way as the Babylon 5 movie? I wouldn't be opposed to that if the animation was better.
Yeah.
I would rather that.
Did you watch the Babylon 5 movie? I haven't watched it yet. I forgot about it.
Yeah. No, I've not watched that because I've not quite finished that series, and I'm leery of it because the premise is too obvious and the animation looks kind of bad.
Yeah. And half the cast is dead, and it's other people playing it. Yeah, because it's cursed.
You know what though? I've seen that done okay before. Like animation is the only way to bring those characters back because you'd have to find sound alikes, and they did that with Return of the Cape Crusaders with Batman '66, and you've got sound alikes for almost every character in that except for like 3 people that were in their 80s when they recorded it, and it was fine. So like I'm okay with that. I would rather a well animated thing for Deep Space Nine and bring back the writing team from that show, Bear and Moore, and do kind of like the thing that they did in the documentary,
right?
Where they met and said like, what if we did another season like 20 years later, and so do like a story like that, but just condensed in 2 hours. I would much prefer all of that than like the Picard thing.
Yeah.
Like, don't let anybody else get their hands on it. Bring back the writers from this show. Make it isolated so we don't even have to have the what is canonical conversation, because I don't care. Like, just do a story, and the rest of New Trek can either deal with it or not. You know, like, I don't care. Because that stuff in my brain doesn't even count. So, I don't know. I'm not opposed to it. I think it could be really cool. In fact, let's do that. Let's do a whole animated continuity that feels like actual Star Trek. Do that apart from New Trek. That'd be wonderful. We'll never get that, but that would be wonderful. This guy is awesome.
Yeah.
And I've seen him in a couple other things, somewhat more recently, but I can't remember what right now.
Yeah.
So, they talk about Julian Bashir. By the end of this episode, we have pretty clear feelings from the Federation on Julian and his career and what he's accomplished, and what they say about for every one of these you get so many of these. But like, what if Bashir decided he wanted to have a kid? Would they let those genetic modifications pass to the next level, or would they deny him the right? Do you think?
That's interesting.
That's a great question. They do not get into that.
No.
And they'll treat this sort of like, Adam brought up Measure Man earlier. They'll treat this sort of like that, where he'll be an isolated case that we're not going to make other decisions based on.
Right.
Right.
Where like his father will go to prison and pay the price so that he can stay in the service, and he has no repercussions whatsoever. They do so like
no, it doesn't.
It's not going to affect his career, much less his ability to produce children.
Right.
That's a great question.
Yeah.
I'd never thought of that. But you're right. That maybe should have been brought up.
Yeah, it should have been at least addressed.
Because if it's not legal
but
to
apparently
have for augments
it's not
to be
that
around,
uncommon, because there are 3 other people where this didn't work that he has to deal with in next season and stuff.
Yeah. Well, and when they're like, there hasn't been a case of this in 100 years, but then those people exist, I'm a little confused about that.
So at least there are 4 other people.
That's right.
Yeah.
Which is one of the best episodes of that season.
Yeah.
And the follow up with them in season 7 is not bad either.
Yeah.
I don't think DS9 gets enough credit. I keep saying continuity. I don't think DS9 gets enough credit for what they do with the whole of the history of Star Trek. Mm-hmm. Like with this, in the most subtle, understated, last way you would expect, we're going back and dealing with augments and the eugenics wars again.
Right.
And we go back and we deal with the with like the setting the stage for what would become World War III in past tense. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And then like Section 31 later on into season 6, like there's just this great sense of like, again, how did Starfleet and Earth like get to the kind of utopian state it is, and how hard was that to do in the first place? Mm-hmm. I don't think it gets enough credit for how far back it goes.
Brandon, Jay and I talked about we're going to do past tense in September this year, because that is the exact date that it happens on.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, we got to do that.
Okay. All right. Well, count me in if you want me.
By the way, I'm Captain Logan on this channel. Nobody
Captain
knows.
Logan.
Nobody knows.
You know, I thought of the same thing when he said it because he always calls you
he always
that.
does that. He's a rebel, man.
I'm a rebel. Oh, this is that thing that they only do in this episode and the episode where Cisco is insane and poisons a planet.
Yeah,
that's
which was
why
like 3 episodes ago.
It looks really silly
and
because
so
it's just
you
a
get
light
the sense
on
they're
his
gonna
head.
keep doing it, but they never do it again.
When
It
Cap
looks really
said
bad
earlier that
because
we
it's
were
just a
doing
light
this
on his head. They
remotely,
should just do a normal hologram, like make it appear like the EMH or whatever. Why do they do it like that?
Why is there a bright light on his head?
Why is there a bright light on his head? It's like they're trying to do the Star Wars thing, but it with only just a spotlight or something.
when Kat mentioned earlier in this stream that we were doing this remotely, I mentioned that I was in by hologram because of this scene in this episode.
Yeah.
I really like this motif with his father not being able to look at him as an adult and get past, or not that he can't look at him as an adult, but like he's stuck in the past and he doesn't want to accept his failures again, like we were talking about earlier.
Yeah.
So just that nice
math is
detail of he
wrong.
won't stop calling him by his nickname, that's really good.
It's not 200 years ago. It's like 400 years ago at this point, almost.
Which means that they're already, before Enterprise, getting weird about the timeline with eugenics wars and going, well, the 90s have happened now. In fact, we're in them right now, so we're going to kind of, like, have a sliding timeline and pretend like it happens later. You can't do that. We have too many specific dates going all the way into the 21st and then 22nd century and beyond. You have to just say, we basically extrapolated from the 60s. This is now an alternate history. It's not really our future. And live with that. Because you can live with it. And then they get, I don't know, I won't get too much into New Trek here, but they get the silliest that ever gets is when we deal with Khan stuff in the second season of Strange New Worlds. Because they try to massively retcon the 90s timeline thing.
Yeah.
But even in Enterprise, they just pretend like it happens later.
Yeah, they should just... If they're going to do it, just do a new, a reset of everything, if that's what they want to do and stuff, I guess.
Well, I've said from the beginning of Discovery, it should have been a full-on reboot.
Yeah.
And, like, it still would suck storytelling-wise, most of it, but at least you wouldn't have the awkwardness of, I can't reconcile it with anything.
Right.
Sure.
You're halfway there if you just say
Right.
we started over. And then you do anything you want to.
Right.
Yeah, that bit's hilarious.
Is he running around the whole circle?
It's a ROM
The whole
alert.
giant docking ring circle.
It would have been really funny if Lita went off with Zimmerman, and then, like, a few episodes later, they come back and it didn't work out, and then she gets together with Rom.
Oh, God.
There's also a part of me that's a little surprised they never did a second Zimmerman episode in this show.
Yeah.
Wonder how that may have tasted.
Because everybody loves Picardo.
I always wonder why they never damaged the makeup when the aliens kiss and stuff.
Right?
Yeah.
Latex was really glued on there.
Yeah.
Well, I don't know. Did you see the hard cut?
Yeah, that's true.
Maybe they did.
Yeah.
You're also a kind of a slime ball. Okay, so I have kind of an issue with how we handle Zimmerman after this in Voyager. And tell me what you think about this, Adam. He seems 30 years...
Oh, my good Lord.
He seems 30
like
years older
sorry.
than this when we meet him again and he's sick in season 7.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And like it might be because of his disease, but I feel like he's playing it like an old man.
Yeah, that is true.
He just got more crotchety though, so maybe that
It
has
has
something
been a
to do with it.
while since I've seen that, but yes, he did definitely get like explain it like an old
They
man at
play him
that
like an
point.
old man though, Brandon. Like it's weird.
Are you gonna get a light up dartboard
That
for
could
your basement
yeah, we should do
like
that.
that?
That can only be a couple of years after this in the
Yeah,
timeline.
no, yeah, definitely.
Like he's got, if memory serves in that episode, he's got full white hair.
Yeah, he did. It was,
Yeah.
or at
I
least
mean, it's,
gray.
like
Yeah.
maybe the disease did that to him, but I don't know.
This is so great. It makes him gives him a handicap.
So you know what should come up here, you guys? I'm really glad that
What's
we're
it?
watching these in such close proximity to each other. So let me get this right. O'Brien has been dealing with a shapeshifter that he thought was Bashir for like a couple of months
Yeah.
before
Yeah.
this. And the moment the real Bashir comes back, he finds this out about him.
O'Brien's
Yeah.
world is shattered about his best friend.
Yeah. This whole time you were never who I thought you were, even when you were.
Oh no. And there's a shot of the Galaxy class.
Adam, is it
Yeah.
not hilarious that this
Yeah, that
happens
is
immediately
hilarious.
after
Right
that?
after that, literally the next episode.
So
That's
I want to know
amazing.
what Galaxy class starship has been. The last couple episodes has been stationed there.
They always say it's like the Venture or something like that. I
Does
think.
it? Do they?
Yeah, I think they've mentioned it before.
Do you remember the store
That
venture?
shot is a reuse of a Way of the Warrior shot.
Yeah.
That yeah.
Oh, is that what that is?
Yeah, at the end when the task force shows up and stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They love their Galaxy class chefs, and I think it's just because TNG was super popular, and they want to keep reminding people that it's still that in that universe. Like, and early on, I think it's just cheaper for models, where it's like, well, we've got these laying around.
Yeah. Well, the first time you really see it is in the Jim Hadar, I think, and they did that because they wanted to blow it up because they wanted the Dominion. This is like how big and bad these guys are and stuff. They blew up the
Yeah.
hero ship from the other show and stuff, but, or the same kind of ship and stuff.
Did they actually blow up a model, or did they?
Yeah,
do
they
it
made
on
a
CG?
model and blew it up and stuff. But that was pre when, when they were still doing a lot of model stuff.
I didn't know that because they blew up a model in Cause and Effect.
Yeah, they did. So they built some kind of like breakaway type thing,
which
think.
is now owned by the Red Letter Media guys. They got their hands on it, and they
The
made
blow-
of the blown up one from Cause and Effect, and
Wow.
they made a video about it, like trying to piece it back together and put it on a mat board and display it in their studio. It's really cool.
That's amazing.
Yeah, you guys should look at that video. It's great.
Oh man.
They were like, we really want an on-screen model, and this is the only one we could get our hands on. It was pretty great.
Wow.
Are you guys good to launch right into the next one, or do you want to take
I
a
need
break
to take a
first?
short break.
Let's take just a couple minutes.
All right.
I've drank a lot of Coca-Cola here.
Next, we
Short
don't need
amount
an
of time.
explanation as to why you need a break, Brandon.
And I need to switch the disc here
Simple
too.
Investigation is the next episode.
Yeah.
Make sure and get that rigged up to timestamp 0, and we'll see you in just a couple of minutes, folks. Okay, we're back. Just waiting for Adam to get back. We're gonna watch one more episode tonight. Brandon, this one is, I think, kind of throwaway. I don't remember this one very well.
Okay.
Oh, hey, it's Adam.
I don't remember this either. I think it's an Odo thing, maybe. I don't remember.
Yeah, it's like an Odo like love story thing that does
It's not
not
like that
stick
thing
with
with
me.
like his girlfriend. Yeah, or like. Yes, I remember this now.
So we'll probably have a lot less to say about this one than we did the last one. None of us have seen it in a long time.
Yeah, I think I saw it like a
This
year
is
ago.
before he dates
I don't
Kira?
remember.
We'll see. Well, yeah. I mean, don't you remember last episode when we were talking about how they weren't dating yet, but they were clearly like building to that? That doesn't start until the middle of 6, where they're like actually full on dating. There's
Oh,
a
that
whole,
doesn't
like,
start till 6, I guess. Is it 6?
yeah,
I
it's
can't
6.
remember.
'Cause
Yeah,
it's-
yeah, you're right.
Because it's when they
Yeah.
have that date at Vic Fontaine's.
Vic Fontaine, right?
Okay, so we'll pretty much just watch this one. Let's see what happens. Here we go. Simple
Here we
Investigation, episode 17 of season 5. Again, we're not skipping around from the point where we started, so not everything is going to have a ton to do with the Dominion and all that. Like that last episode barely did it all, but
Right.
it will inform a pretty major Dominion War episode in season 6, so we'll be glad that we watched it.
Right.
This, we probably won't care that we
Sounds-
They
watched.
kind of have a reprise from the Dominion, I guess. Reprieve from the Dominion. Until basically the end of this season, more or less.
Yeah, I never thought of that. I guess a reprise is almost the opposite of a reprieve.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, everybody, please press play right now. I don't know.
Not
They
quite.
didn't quite do that this time, but it is that space station shot.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, this guy is Quarters.
The
It's an interesting hoodie.
guy's weird looking.
Oh, I thought he was like hypo spraying himself.
So you're making a hypo spray noise?
Yeah. I'm looking for any excuse.
Well-
Is this an Odo romance? I don't remember.
I think it is.
I remember that these guys, and I remember what they do here.
Okay, this species shows up a few times, but I don't know what they're called.
I don't either. I don't even know if they have a name.
They're called horns with holes in head.
Yes. Yeah.
It's pretty weird to have antennae on your chin.
Mm-hmm.
Antennae chins.
Yeah.
Uh-oh.
Oh.
Was that a bear on T?
No. I don't think it was a...
That's pretty funny. Why are you so obsessed with the Bear on T disruptor? Anytime that happens, you
talking
go,
about
Bear
it.
on T.
He's
I have to
obsessed
say
with that episode. And he's obsessed with Saul Rubidnik in that episode. I don't know why.
I guess the excuse for all the different disintegration effects we have in Star Trek is that they're all done by different weapons, but boy do we have a lot of different ways of disintegrating things. And like sometimes it leaves behind a trail and sometimes it doesn't. And I liked the smoke effect.
Right. Oh, is this another James Bond parody and they don't actually show it because they got in trouble from Eon Productions the last time they did this, I think.
Wait, they got in trouble for that?
I think they
parody
did.
thing?
I thought they did. They got in trouble with the Holmes estate after the Arthur Conan Doyle estate for the Sherlock Holmes stuff. That's why they weren't allowed to do it until a follow-up to that episode
Wow,
until way later.
I didn't know that. But they didn't get in trouble until after Ship in a Bottle?
Yeah, they got in trouble for that after Elementary Dear Data, and then they were able to get permission, I guess, to do it again, I think, is what happened.
Or maybe,
if I'm remembering
or maybe
this
the compromise
correctly.
they made was you can use Moriarty, but nothing else?
Yeah, maybe if I'm remembering it correctly.
Okay, that's really weird. What is
But that's
the
all
name?
public domain now, so I don't know why that would even be a problem.
I don't
Maybe
get
it
it.
wasn't at the time.
But yeah, what is the name of that episode?
Which one?
The
Bond?
The Bond episode, yeah.
Our Man Bashir.
There it
It's
is,
like a
thank you.
parody of Our Man Flint. I love that episode. It's so fun. Cisco is such a crazy Bond villain. He's so
nuts.
Great.
It's so good. Yeah, I kind of wish we'd gone back far enough to do that episode.
They even do like a brassy version of the Deep Space Nine score that sounds like John Barry. It's like brah, 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 brah.
It's awesome. Whatever. We should have just taken the bullet and done this entire show.
We just done the whole show. It would have been awesome. Oh, there's those signs from Brunt FCA. Quark's not allowed to do business, but he did, or whatever, with Ferengi. But yeah, I remember this boring lady.
I remember this boring.
Foster from Wish.
I was gonna say, call me sexist or whatever. I feel like they cast a lot of women in this show that look just like her.
Yes.
Like her affect, her like her face. She's not that far away from Lenara Khan, who we talked about last show.
I know.
She looks a little bit like her.
Is that a Ferengi business license behind Odo?
He was just talking about that.
No, that's the FCA thing that says they can't. I think that said they can't do business. I think it is.
I noticed it the last episode, but I've been focused on this episode. I didn't hear you mention it. I'm sorry.
Yeah, it's like Quark's working on his own now, and he's not actually
I think that's what
with
it
the
is.
Ferengi
I think
alliance or whatever. Because I'm pretty sure all that's happened already.
Yeah.
So he gets sort of excommunicated like Worf does from the Klingon Empire.
Yeah. Okay. This lady's so boring compared to Kira. I don't know why you're interested in her.
My office is always open for you.
Anyways.
Well, and she's not even as interesting as Lwaxana Troi.
No.
For
Lwaxana
Odo.
Troi is great in those 2 episodes with
She
her
is.
and Odo. I think she's good in some TNG episodes too.
No, but that's indisputably
But
the
that's
best
definitely her
Lwaxana Troi
best
stuff.
performance. Yeah.
You sort of wish that they could have gotten, or that they would have written an episode with her and Deanna in this show just because they wrote her so well.
Yeah.
Because Deanna shows back up in Voyager.
Yeah.
And so they both get guest star appearances, but they're split.
Okay,
Yeah.
can I say my early impressions of this episode because I have not seen this before?
You just fell asleep, and you need me to wake you up the whole time.
No, why are there 2 aliens after this woman who met up with this? I'm getting strong Vash vibes from her.
It's
Yeah.
like a whole little.
But more boring
Fine.
even
Yeah,
than
even
Vash.
more boring than Vash.
More boring than Vash. Vash is not boring.
Vash is, the only problem, she was an okay character they could have done cool stuff with. The only problem with her was pairing her with Picard.
Yeah.
I just never bought that at all. Austin's been watching through TNG, and he's like, I don't know what you're talking about. Vash is great. And I'm like, well, you were in the minority on that, sir.
Also, she reminds me too much of Courtney Cox. It's weird.
I'm not seeing what, Vash or this
Vash.
woman? Oh, I think you meant this woman.
No,
Vash.
not this lady. I don't know who this lady reminds me of.
She reminds me of Lenara Khan.
Lenara Khan.
Everyone she's reminding me of is from Star Trek and less boring than her. And I think she's just maybe either miscast or they just couldn't come up with a cool enough character to go with Odo. Like, she seems like an okay actress. They just didn't give her the right thing to do. Like, she's just too no-nonsense and stolid. And
I think they were trying to go for someone who was as much like Odo as...
Yeah. I think that's exactly what they were doing. And that's not what he would be attracted to.
Mm-hmm.
No.
That's the problem with it.
No, he's attracted to rebels with Quark, you know, always there.
Oh, right. So you're saying they need the female equivalent of Quark?
Yeah, basically, the chaos to his stolid.
Are you saying that Kira is the female version of Quark?
No.
No.
What a ridiculous thing you
said
didn't
that she got
say, and then I'm going to
grab her.
attribute to you anyway.
That's great.
Stranger things have happened.
Well, I just fell in love with a brick wall, and
My reflection.
she said it like
she could have said.
She said it like she got it off a script. Okay, this is ridiculous. These things have never had a reflection before.
Suddenly.
The plastic boxes.
They made these plastic boxes to have a reflection.
Lowe's
so that Odo
decorate this set here. Yeah.
Look at himself in the sides of them. That's so stupid.
Yeah. These plastic boxes are arguably better than the blue barrels aboard the Enterprise D.
Only because really one heavy? Hasn't fallen off and hitting anybody in the back. Yeah, I'm sorry.
They make a hollow sound even in the show with the sound effect sounds hollow when they hit Worf.
There is not a more uneven episode of Star Trek than Ethics. Which is both a pretty good episode and one of the stupidest episodes.
That every time that episode title comes up, it makes me think of Nog's smart-ass answer in Keiko's class one time when he's like, because they don't have ethics? Or something like that.
Finea Prime.
Like the ethical conundrum in that episode is fantastic.
Yeah.
The way it handles the assisted suicide question is, I think, really well thought out and pretty mature.
Yeah.
And the way they get to that situation is so asinine. I can't take the whole damn thing seriously.
No. And I would have liked to see Beverly interact with Bashir the way she interacts with the Doctor in that episode, because he does the same crap with every crazy experimental stuff that she does. And
that's great.
In that episode,
That's such a good point. And then Sisko's like, "Look, we'll burn off a planet's atmosphere if we need to. Okay, like you do whatever you need to, Bashir."
Yeah.
But man, like, how in the sorry, I know we're not talking about this right now.
He betrayed his uniform, Captain.
Okay,
forgot.
That's true. No, he was justified. He's completely justified.
Yeah.
How in Adam in the same episode, that we learn about redundant organs, does Worf get paralyzed being hit in the back with a bear? Like, that's the episode that reveals the redundancies. It's preposterous.
She says this woman says she grew up on Finea Prime. Where do you think that is?
Who knows? It's something they just made up.
Finea Prime.
I'm pretty sure it's like 3 doors down from Risa.
Oh, she's got a data port on her too, which is weird. Never seen that before.
Yeah.
Do you think that's why she's so stolid?
Odo's chair looks like it's got crocodile skin or something.
It does kind of, doesn't it?
Alligator skin.
See, their Cardassians were not that enlightened. Actually, I think it's. Wow, this is going to be really dark. I was gonna say I think it's made of dead Cardassian skin.
Oh no! It seems like something a Gull would do on a space station.
Yeah, they took someone they branded as a traitor and they killed him and they used his skin to make furniture.
Do you see this chair that I sit in?
And Odo is like, yes.
That's what that could be.
I meted out justice to him.
If Discovery did Cardassians, that's how they would do it.
I was the law during the occupation.
Adam, that would be Discovery's version of Cardassians.
Oh God.
Adam, one of these nights you gotta stay with us and watch Discovery.
I've already watched it. I don't need to watch it again.
How come their weapon didn't trigger an interior weapons fire?
No, you do.
There is a half Cardassian person in the 3rd and 4th season of that show, Discovery. You'll see.
I haven't gotten far enough yet. Hey, let me read the super chat real quick. Jar Jar had $2 super chat. It's not a good episode of War Crimes without Garrick.
Garrick. Marginal.
Yeah, I'm missing Garrick.
Brand is a marginal character.
Why wasn't Garrick in the last episode? He'd have something to say to Bashir about that.
That would have been nice to have at least a scene with him. They should have done a really short scene where he's just not surprised at all. Like he figured it out years ago and just never told anybody. Okay, so what was
I've always known that about you, Doctor.
What was your point about the weapon?
Why didn't weapons fire trigger an alarm that interior weapons had been fired?
Set off the alarm. Because that's not a thing except for in that one movie, Brandon. Apparently.
Yeah, that's in, like, you always bring that up, and you can bring it up.
Do?
Yeah, and it makes sense to bring it up in starships, but you're talking about a Cardassian now Bajoran station.
Yes,
Who knows
the
what the
Wild
protocols are?
West
Like,
It's true, but I would have think Cisco would have brought some,
I mean, DS9 is not as rough as Babylon 5, with whole sections that are like slums, but it is pretty. It's not as definitely not a starship.
yeah, no, there's whole areas underneath that you do not want to go to.
Yeah. They're just like, fine, that's okay, I guess.
On the other hand, there are two major things that Babylon 5 has over Deep Space Nine. One of them is Warner Brothers cartoons, and the other one is Zima.
Zima. And a big garden on the inside that they never go to, except for that, like, shots of it just rendered with their Amiga or whatever.
Yep. I was gonna say that looked like a copy of a copy of a copy.
Yeah.
that looked like a little plastic molded piece, so close and big on this screen.
I want to do more Babylon 5 material on this channel, and even less people would care about that than
The
this.
font on Deep Space Nine in English is Chicago, which is the old font that used to be on Macs back in the day for like.
Oh my God, it
system
is?
font. Yeah, I just realized that.
Wow, you blew my mind with that.
I'd like to point out, thinking about this, back in the day when we watched these, for the first time, some of our biggest televisions were 14-inch CRTs.
To be fair, some of us actually bothered to watch this show. So when you say we,
now
you never watched
here's
this.
the thing.
I watched this show in elementary
I did
school.
watch this show with my
videotaped
mom.
This show because it was on at 11 o'clock on a Sunday night every day.
I'm just giving you crap. What point were you making?
Well, like seeing these blown up, especially stuff I haven't seen in forever. My mom tells me we used to watch the show together. I just don't remember it, and she does. She remembers.
She's gaslighting you.
I'm just asking you, what point are you
so
making?
the point,
about the
like,
size of
just seeing some of these things big.
I'm just waiting to get to what you're talking about. Yeah.
Well, just seeing that little tech on the side of her, neck there, that big, just made it look.
Yeah,
like
fairly
fake.
You see the more the
I see.
it looks more fake, and it would look worse in HD, I'm sure. But we've
Right,
seen some of that with
course.
TNG's remaster.
Hey, look, everybody! It's Data's Emotions chip.
Yes, but the first version, not the one from Generations, the tiny one from
Exactly.
Descent.
That you need tweezers to pick up.
Yes, and it was permanently broken, except that it wasn't.
Oh, there's so much sexual chemistry.
I don't even know what the hell they're talking about. I haven't been paying attention.
I'm not paying any attention to this.
Talking about probing.
Not a good episode.
Yeah, well, they're going to like this innuendo place, being like, "Look how much sexual tension and chemistry there is," and I'm like, "There's not."
You say that we're gonna have to watch it. You're gonna have to watch it. We're gonna have to watch your least favorite episode, because that happens in season 6.
Oh no!
Is it Time's Orphan? Is that what?
Oh no! I can't do it. I can't watch it. You guys can do that by yourself.
I don't like that episode, but it's not. I think if I had to say the worst episode of this show, I don't know. I think Meridian is really bad. The Brigadoon space episode and stuff. That one's
the Risa episode is really
the Rice
bad.
episode with Worf.
It's really bad.
And he gets away with like not, he causing a crime, and then he doesn't have to finish any consequences.
So we talk about the Orion Syndicate an awful lot in this show to never
actually
for it to not be until Enterprise that we finally see male Orions.
Yeah,
like it's really weird that it took that long.
Well, they have the whole thing with the Miles undercover with that guy and stuff, and he has to get the cat from.
Yeah, and somehow
that's like, but
we
they're like
still don't see Orions.
Yeah, and they don't show the Orions. There's like layers between the actual Orions and these lower level guys and stuff,
It's so weird. Well, they treat them like the Tholians.
Yeah.
Except Orions, are just humanoids with makeup. Like, there's a reason to not show Tholians.
Maybe they thought they looked silly and they didn't want to show them.
Or maybe they had this hard and fast rule for a long time where they were like, we know there's male Orions, but we only want to ever show female. But then they didn't even do that. I don't think you see female Orions even in DS9.
No, you don't see any Orion until Enterprise.
And the same thing with Andorians. You'll occasionally bring one up, but you never see one except for a hologram one time
hologram
in the offspring.
Yeah.
I think that's it, right?
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. You see him in the TOS movies and like the background of the
Yes.
Federation Council and things
Yes.
like that, but you don't see him in any TNG era stuff.
The
last time you see an Orion is
and nothing.
In what the heck is the episode with the one with Garth of Izar? What is that episode?
Did you see that? I'm sorry,
where she smiled.
Because it looks like where he said she did and she didn't.
Oh, he goes, "Why are you smiling?"
Yeah, she wasn't smiling.
She had kind of a curl on
smile,
one half
yeah,
of her face.
that was not a smile. There was no smile.
She's like giving this.
That woman is incapable of smiling.
She looks like she's reading lines off a cue card.
And also this whole thing about like his like puppy dog eyes or whatever. Like he's a shapeshifter that approximates human eyes.
Has no eyes.
He doesn't have eyes.
I mean, he looks like a Wallace and Gromit character.
Wallace and Gromit.
I just feel like this is written like a Harlequin romance novel.
This episode's not very.
Did that guy just bring in some butter?
Oh
no,
Wendy's.
He's got
Wendy's.
He's got Wendy's new Hasbrat Happy Meal.
Did you guys make that?
Okay, mixing 3 different properties.
I know, because Wendy's doesn't have a Happy Meal. But he just brought in the kids meal with Hasbrat.
He just ate an apple pie from McDonald's.
It's Chipotle. That's what
he looks like he's from McDonald's land.
It does look like Chipotle.
It's a burrito.
He's the personification of Grimace.
And then Odo is a Wallace and Gromit character.
Mm-hmm.
It's not nice. It looks exactly like every single other room on the space station.
This sucks.
This is not a good episode. Oh, there's this weird room.
This is why we couldn't remember what was in this episode.
I remembered it kind of. I was like, this is with that woman.
No, it's Odo's playground, Brandon.
Yes.
Oh.
Why does he have a piece of quartz back there? Or not quartz, a geode. Do you think he uses that for?
Because he likes to shapeshift into a geode. Man, I don't need to sleep in a bed because I sleep in a bucket, but
Not anymore. He rolls around the room every night, apparently. He got rid of the bucket's a flower pot now.
Oh, yeah. Oh, he just said that. Okay, never mind.
And then he keeps Quark up at night because Quark's one level below him.
Also, I don't have eyes.
Yes.
Even the hills have eyes, but not Odo.
And there's wood. Do you think he shapeshifts to that too?
What other things in this room does he turn into?
These
weird
chairs.
Stackable chair things? That's exactly what I was...
That's his
turns into those. Does he turn into the window?
So he's got a desk in his office, and then he's got a desk here just, in case he needs to do more work.
Idanian authorities.
Oh, yeah, that's why we didn't remember the name of that species, because it's not memorable.
Idanian.
It could have a virus.
Interface.
Yeah,
yes.
I guess the one
sort
interface of it. I guess the one sort of
now we're in
interesting
William
thing here
Shatner's
is the
tech war.
Yeah, what I was going to say is the data node thing that she has is something we could have done something with a more interesting character, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
It's weird to have that and nobody ever brings up, the Borg.
What's this lady's name? This actress? Has she been in anything else? Let's see.
For someone who's a member of the Orion
Soap
Syndicate,
operas, I guarantee it. I guarantee you soap operas.
For someone who's a member of the Orion Syndicate, she's certainly not, being undercover in any way, shape, or form.
She was a net girl?
A net girl?
Yeah, she just said that. That's
Netscape Navigator.
That sounds like... That sounds dirty, right?
It sounds like something out of Babylon 5.
I was going to say it sounds like... No, never mind.
Oh, there's some prop lights reflecting in the window.
A net girl.
It'd be really funny if they had the Orion Nebula behind her.
The assay office. They have an assay office on Deep Space Nine, like it's an old west mining town.
That comes up. Sometimes they get real on the nose with the Western town business. Yeah, I can't get my mind around Net Girl.
What is this woman's name? I'm trying to look up and find out.
Arissa. There you go.
Well, he's trying to find the actress.
Yeah.
Arissa. What's her last name? I'm trying to put my finger on it.
The actress.
Porn star. I think that's her last name.
The actress name. She has no last name. She's
a Net Girl.
Is. Oh wow! This actress was in earlier episode. She was in the Masterpiece Society of TNG. She was the one that was like Geordi's friend or whatever.
Is that the one that lives inside the giant bubble?
Yeah, they're in like the bubble, and they have Ron Canada in it. Yeah.
Yeah.
The actress name is Dae Young.
You know, I said this actress wasn't too bad. It's just the material they're giving her. I don't know if I was right about that.
Well,
she was in Enterprise too. She was in the Risa episode of Enterprise.
Wow.
Oh my God! It all goes back to Risa, folks.
Yeah.
Now that you say that, I know exactly who she is in that. But okay, so don't you remember the scene with Archer standing like outside on a balcony at his apartment on Risa, and she's the neighbor? That's who that is.
Did she do better in that episode?
I don't remember. It's been a while since I watched that one. She was in some movies, I guess.
What was that episode? 30 days? No, something.
2 days and 2 nights.
2 days and 2 nights. That's what it's called. Rice episodes are not great.
No.
The best Rice episode is Captain's Holiday, and that is saying something. That's not a great episode.
I like to get a
They
Risa
got like
burger
obsessed with that
fries.
idea of Risa for some reason. It's like that. I don't know why.
Yeah, I don't know why they're so obsessed with it.
And this is the only little bit of James Bond we get here. Is this in the thing or whatever limo?
Yeah, he's got his Bond girl.
Yeah. And O'Brien had to play Falcon again. Because you're always Falcon.
I need to tell you about this Net Girl that I met. I can't believe they called it. I just can't get my mind around that.
Net Girl.
That should have been the name of the episode. The Net Girl. Why do you pronounce it like that? Are you Harrison Ford? Falcon?
I'll get it out on the Falcon.
They are stretching for time so hard with this episode, Adam. Like,
I know.
they just do not have enough material for 42 minutes.
They care.
It's Deep Space High School.
You would never know that we had just done that genetic engineering review.
Nope.
No.
And this also feels like it could be in any part of the sequence.
Yeah.
This season, like...
This is like a throwaway episode.
Yeah.
It is a bottle
thanks
episode.
For joining
they don't
us,
go anywhere.
Folks.
Except for this one little scene. It's a bottle, it's pretty much a bottle episode.
Yeah. It's weird how this is sort of... I mean, I can't even call it a B story, but it's like we know Bashir is off doing this thing, and so we converge with it. Like, the way the A and the B stories converged and intertwined last episode is so sophisticated in comparison.
Yeah.
He called him Mr. Bashir. Shouldn't that have tipped Odo off?
I don't know what. Well, that's what he's called in the other episode.
Yeah.
He's like Bashir, Julian Bashir. The episode's also great because Garrick's in it, and he's like, none of this is realistic. He gets like morally offended. It's like not a realistic portrayal of espionage.
Yeah, he hates Bond movies because they're so over the top and cartoonish.
It's like, this is an insult to my profession.
It's like trying to watch cop movies with a cop.
Yeah.
They're going to perform a quantum scan of this crystal.
It's a quantum scan.
Well, that's because she's Vash and she's being chased by 26th century.
So it would seem.
The Vorgons. Not the Vorgons. Horgons. What are they called? It's called a Horgon. Yeah, but what are the aliens called?
They're give me a second. It's on the tip of my tongue.
Aren't they called Vorgons? Or is that from Hitchhiker's Guide? No, Vorgons is Babylon 5.
Well, no, that is Babylon 5.
What are they called?
No, you're right. Okay, so it's Vorgon.
And then Vogon.
And then Vogon is Hitchhiker's Guide to the Galaxy. That's what it is. Man.
Don't ever listen to their poetry.
That whole thing was like a Vorgon conclusion.
Yeah.
Oh, jeez. Jeez. Even by my standards, that was trash.
Hey, I said it so that you wouldn't have to.
Well, amen, brother.
Brother.
Boy, I've been waiting for these characters
Are you Hulk
to kiss
Hogan
this
now?
whole episode.
Yeah, amen, brother.
I'm so glad this is finally happening.
Finally.
Oh, man. More makeup kissing.
Did you see the hard cut?
Yeah.
I'm going to say it every time now. Adam's trying to stay awake through this episode.
This we're after dark.
He can't even handle it.
I remember watching this like a year ago, and I was like, this is not good.
This has Picard and Q vibes.
Did you start like cleaning your house?
I don't remember, but yeah.
Did you make a sandwich? Did you start doing your taxes? Like, did you call friends from high school you haven't spoken to in 15 years?
Okay.
Wow,
yeah, they got the same weird beds they have in Babylon 5 with the triangle pillows.
Look at that headboard on that bed too. Is that a computer screen or just
yeah,
decorative paneling?
It's like, controlling things.
Yeah.
Okay, so Adam,
that bed vibrate.
So Adam, do you remember when you get into season 6, and Odo gets in bed with the female changeling?
Oh yeah.
And he won't know
Days
with her,
go by.
but they have like human type sex.
Yeah.
And she's like, noticing that he's like, or expects that he's planning away because he's not been able to do that with Kira. But he mentions that he has had sex before, and I was like, I don't know what he's talking. I don't know when that's ever happened. It's not like I was gonna remember this.
Yeah.
That's what he was talking about.
I mean, he could be also talking about pre D Space Nine.
No, he just said never with a woman.
He just said he's never been with a woman before.
Oh,
this was
the first time.
Only instance before the female shapeshifter, and then Kira after that.
Gotcha.
Mm-hmm.
Which means he's probably only been with 2 women his entire life before he goes back to the Link. I wish this episode didn't happen.
He's so orange.
Yeah, what's going on with his makeup?
Look, he's approximating a skin color, and there's a lot of skin colors to choose from, but he can't come up with one that even looks like a real person.
I'd call that one Montalban.
Wow. I don't think Montalban was orange.
He wasn't orange, yeah. Oh, God. I remember the reveal of this. Yes, I kind of remember the reveal of this at the end a little bit.
You know, the whole point of doing this before we had with Discovery is that at least we would watch some decent Star Trek.
Hey, look, you're going to get some real shiny...
what is the next one?
Can I say that word?
I don't know what you're saying.
You're going to get some bad episodes.
Yeah.
Yeah, I just wish we'd started with a bad one and then ended with a good one. Because now we're going to have 3 bad things in a row.
If I recall, didn't we have this problem on the last iteration of Trek Club?
No, because we weren't doing New Trek right after it.
No, but I mean, we ended with a bad episode. We were always on a downer, like.
Yeah, but that's okay if I don't have to then propel into not Star Trek.
Propel warp 5 straight into the next thing.
Stop this scene. Oh my god, it's been going on for like 10 minutes now.
God, this is like Disney plus Marvel pacing. Stop it.
Okay.
All right.
All right, we can cut away now. Oh, now he's gonna do the weird shape-shifty stuff. That's weird.
Just cut to
was a
Worf.
shot.
Cut to
Worf
Worf.
doesn't
Just
even care.
Weird ass directing in this episode too.
why? Why did we cut to Worf
Because
like that?
he's like, you guys shouldn't gossip.
That was a baffling choice.
It was. It was just so out of left field. I'm like, what?
By the way, you remember this character that's in this show?
Yeah, and it kind of looks like he's watching something, which is funny to cut from.
He looks like he's watching a net girl.
Yeah, yeah.
Don't shout across the room.
He's like 2 feet away.
He's right there.
I like Klingons
But that's
involved
Star
in
Trek.
a
If you're
gossip
not,
ring.
You're
hey,
in this show
hey,
too.
Hey Adam, the other day I rewatched Deadlock.
Deadlock. Yeah.
And you've got a duplicate Voyager with 2 Janeways that end up in the same room together to discuss a plan. And the 2 Janeways are centimeters apart talking to each other. Their faces.
Yeah.
Like, why would... It's weird enough when you're doing that with another person. Why would you talk to yourself that close?
Right.
He had sex with the most boring woman imaginable. That's what happened.
That tracks.
She has one facial expression, and it's not smiling.
There it is. That's Chicago.
Oh.
I wish I was playing a drinking game where I had to drink every time Adam sighed. So I was like,
Next
every
time.
Are these guys
6...
still eating Hosperak?
Oh my God.
Was
They're
it a
just sitting there the whole time?
Was it a 2-for-1 special?
Not like 5 days ago now?
Well, he had leftovers. He put it in his fridge.
Yeah.
So who are these? What species are they supposed to be?
Something. We
Well,
never
are they
figured
not
it
that
out.
species that they named earlier? The like Danium or whatever? Well, I can't remember the name of it. Is that who they are?
Maybe.
Now I want some Hasbrat, you guys.
Idanians.
That's it.
These
Oh no, that's a different species.
are these Idanians? I don't know.
Those are
These
Idanians.
Yeah.
I
What does
don't
that
know
mean?
what the antennae face people are.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I think Adam is tracking about every 7 minutes or so. Just a big sigh.
So you'd be drunk. What you're saying?
No, I could deal with like.
Oh, not shots, just a drink.
Well, even like I don't know, 5 shots over a 45-minute. Yeah, no, I'd get pretty drunk. It would depend on what the shots were of.
Well, I mean, this is a club. You can
Of
drink
course.
at a club.
I can drink at the club.
At the club, it's a Star Trek club.
I don't think Star Trek is the club.
You know what?
It's a club.
If we change the format where you're just like a bartender, you get out your little wet bar and you're a bartender at Star Trek
is
Club.
Arissa.
Star Trek : the club.
The club.
What is with the directing in this episode?
Even her
Now we got
clothes
like
are boring.
Dutch angle. What'd you say, Adam?
Even her clothes are boring.
Well, she looks like she stepped out of first season TNG.
Uh-oh.
Oh
What
my
was
god.
he doing with his fingernail?
That commercial break really makes you want to come back. Adam is totally not going to keep talking to his high school friend he hasn't talked to for 15 years. And come back and watch this episode.
Yeah.
This year is my 20-year high school reunion.
Look, I'm sorry, I can't keep talking. I gotta finish this riveting Deep Space Nine episode.
So riveting, let me tell you. It's so riveting, you call it a self-sealing stem bolt.
Self-sealing stem bolt.
Self-riveting stem bolt.
Busted Sim, the wonders of 4:3 framing. What is he talking about?
4:3 is the screen size.
No, I know, but what's
He's
he
probably
referring
talking about
to?
when you were talking about like when they had Janeway right up. Next
Oh,
to
that's why he
Janeway
said
or whatever.
that. Yeah. With the heads right up against each other. Because if it was widescreen, you wouldn't feel the need to do that. Yeah.
People are always like in that episode, like the real Harry Kim died, and the replacement Harry Kim came, and I'm like, 5 minutes before all that happened, they were all one person. You know what I mean?
Yep.
You just followed one.
And he also addresses it at the end about how weird it is. Now, I agree with you. On the other hand, it is odd that it would never come up again the entire series.
Yeah.
Oh no, something's about to happen.
And it's the same thing with Naomi Wildman.
Well, I always felt like maybe they should have had like a slight bond over that.
Yeah.
You know, he should have been like her like godfather or something. I never had that thought until now, but that might have been a cool character thing to do.
Yeah, they also do it in this show, and they don't really bring it up with O'Brien and that whole like time jumping around episode.
Dude, there are so many O'Brien duplicates. We've talked about this before,
yeah.
and they never come up again. Every time it happens, it's never talked about again.
What is the MacGuffin they want in this episode? What is on the data crystal? Do they even say? Does it matter? Does it really matter?
I don't know. Who cares? Maybe it's a reveal later. We haven't gotten it yet. I'm struggling to pay any attention to this.
The other guy's just standing there.
Oh, she does something finally.
Wow. She sort of had an expression when she was fighting for her life.
She was like,
This is
the data crystal.
Oh yeah, they're gonna.
Oh, I remember what's on it now. It's like her real self, because she was undercover or some crap like that. That's what it was. She was actually an operative, and this whole person was like an avatar.
So is that supposed to be the excuse for why she's acting so, like, wooden?
No, I think it's just like they're trying to make her act like she was in a film noir or something.
I was gonna say I don't think.
Then they, like,
yeah, no, you're right. Because I don't think you can do both. I don't think you can be like, look at all the chemistry that Odo has with her, and also she acts like a plank of wood because it's not really her.
Right. There's her side.
Busted Sim, Voyager kept better track of Neelix having only one lung. That's true. But then Voyager treated Kim as a glorified cardboard cutout. That is also true. Odo, you're literally the only person that cares if this woman lives or dies.
No one cares.
The
Odo.
audience sure doesn't care. He's like, just kill her. Get the episode over with. Adam, don't you have a soul? Well, this woman doesn't. So
It's going to take a few minutes. That was not a few minutes.
Meanwhile, way down here.
He said that they transferred memories into her. They gave her no memory of her past as an intelligence agent, but she literally knew she was part of that organization. So didn't she know?
It was another. No, she thought she was part of the Orion Syndicate, but not. I think. I don't know. I don't know.
But he said intelligence agent.
Yeah, she looks like one of those things.
Oh, she's
one of them.
Something
in
in
Idanian.
There it is. She came through the Idanian gateway.
So I almost said that earlier when all the doors opened up. I did say Iconian gateway, but I almost said Idanian gateway. Uh-oh. Spaghetti-O.
Uh-oh.
Well, it's not cheating because she didn't know.
That's all right. I almost forgot you existed between scenes.
She got whatever's in the Great Link. Can't get rid of it.
This feels like an almost Voyager reveal to me, Adam.
Yeah.
Of like this woman that one of our characters fell in love with was actually this other species the whole time and didn't have her memories.
Or something they would have done on early Enterprise too, maybe.
Yeah, that's true. But yeah, it reminds me a little bit of like Unforgettable, except that's a pretty good episode.
Which one is Unforgettable now? I can't.
That's the one with the woman that falls in love with Chakotay, whose species like you can't remember them after like 48 hours.
Oh yeah. That's not that bad.
That's a pretty cool episode.
So what is it in Star Trek with characters who
Does that one have Virginia Madsen in that one? I can't remember.
I'm pretty sure that's the name of that.
Yeah.
I sometimes mix it up with the episode.
No, you're right. It's Unforgettable.
I sometimes mix it up with the episode with the woman that they erase the Doctor's memory of, but that's a different episode.
No, that's a different one. And then there's also the one where the woman that steals people's faces and steals Tom Paris's body, and that whole one.
Oh yeah, I forgot about that. A lot of samey episodes in Voyager.
So what is it in Star Trek with these characters who kind of aren't allowed to have relationships? With the moment they do, there's always conceit for why it doesn't work out at the end of the one episode.
Because they're supposed to be making episodic television. And so like Bear and Moore are fighting that really hard with DS9, but they have to throw the studio a bone, so they do these kinds of episodes still. But yeah, so the answer to that, and this is contradictory, Brandon.
Yeah.
But and it's a good question that you asked. The answer to that is you can't let the status quo change too much and characters to change and grow too much in every other Star Trek show except for this one.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
But this show will still be saddled with those kinds of episodes because it's still in the pipeline with all of that.
Gotcha.
So they're, you know, we talked about this last time, but like the studio's not paying as much attention to this show, so they're getting away with a lot of serialized. But I think that's all just kind of holdover and residue from that way of making television.
22 episode season, yeah, they had to fill some of it with this.
That's a lot of it too. Is like you've got so many episodes a season. What's a character that's not, you know, with the serialized nature of this? Maybe part of it too, Adam, is what characters haven't been a part of the big major stories we've been telling. So we have to give them character episodes. So we remind the audience that they're there. Like Odo doesn't have a lot to do this season.
It really helps, you know, flesh out the characters and stuff rather than it just always being like plot for the you know, the Dominion War arc or whatever. You know, you get some, you know, to care more, but not this episode. Sometimes
they just couldn't come up with a good one-off for Odo.
Right.
But yeah, I mean, he just had a big story with losing his, you know, powers and getting them back and all of that.
Right. And they did that on. We talk about Babylon 5 a lot this episode, but yeah, they did a lot on that show too, except for the fourth season when they were cramming 2 seasons worth of show into one season. Basically, they still did filler episodes even in you know, the other seasons and stuff.
Yep.
So it's a similar kind of a thing going on there.
Yeah, and like it would be easy to make the case that DS9 is a better and tighter show if somehow rather it could have worked on a more modern model of 10 or 12 episodes a season, but there are so many great one-offs you wouldn't have gotten if they did that. So no, you don't actually want that for DS9. I would take the kind of boring filler episodes like this over not getting things like Far Beyond the Stars and you know, even fun stuff,
the crazy holodeck episodes and things like that.
Yeah, even fun stuff like Take Me Out of the Holosuite and stuff like that. Like I'm glad we got those episodes. If you really know your show, stuff like this you can just straight up skip. There's no reason to even remember this episode happened.
No.
Right.
Which is why we didn't.
I guess the next episode's kind of an okay one. It's the Quark episode where he becomes an arms dealer basically, and it has the crisis of conscience over that and stuff.
Yeah, that one also doesn't stick with me real hard, but I remember it being fine.
It's a little better than this one, yeah.
All right. Well, Obusta Sim just says I actually prefer this style of serialization where they do have those throwaway character episodes to help pace out the plot. Nowadays, there's so much focus on plot that the characters suffer. That's right, and also you can end up with like the Netflix model with 10 or 12 episodes, where basically what you have is a story that you could have done in movie length,
right?
2, 3, 4 hours that we stretched to 12. Yeah, you need those kind of like, you know, side places where we just have some downtime and get to know characters.
That episode was so boring it felt like 2 episodes.
Yeah, and it wasn't a whole episode worth of story. Anyway, we're gonna go ahead.
They didn't really have a B story in that episode to even like round out it. You know, they focused the entire episode on that and stuff. You know, it was weird in that way. Because even the episode prior had the B story with Lita and stuff. You know, it was. I don't know why.
That would have been a good place. You know, you could have done like paralleling romances, and the Odo story sucks. But that might have been a good place to do like a Kira Shakar thing or something.
Yeah. Well, Shakar's dead at this point, I think.
I couldn't remember where that was.
Yeah. I think she's dating. I don't know if she still is though. The guy that was her former cadre in the Resistance that becomes like the president of Bajor, but it still seems like the Kai runs everything. I don't really understand that, but what's that?
Oh yeah, what is that guy's name? That's actually who I was thinking of. That's not Shakar.
No, that is Shakar. You're right. I'm thinking of Barile.
There you go. Yeah, see, I thought that guy's name was Shakar. Yeah, and then no, Barile is dead.
Barile's
and then in season 7 we get that great mirror Barile episode.
That's season 6.
Is it 6?
Yeah,
that's really good.
Oh no, season 7, Mirror Universe is the one you hate. That's the Emperor's New Cloak, right?
That's the worst. That episode's insane. That episode opens with a physical, real-life Vic Fontaine who gets shot in the back.
I can maybe buy it. Because maybe Vic, the guy that made Vic, that they're always talking about, Felix or whatever, maybe he modeled his physical appearance off of a real dude in the universe. That's the only explanation I can think of. Yeah, but the guy really never says anything before getting shot, so we don't know who he really was and stuff. But yeah, that episode's crazy.
Do they not make it clear at some point that Vic Fontaine was a real person in the 40s, though?
No, they don't. I don't think they ever make that.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay. I thought he was supposed to be like a real-life member of the Rat Pack or
something. No, I think he's just supposed to be kind of an amalgam of that and stuff.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, let's get going, and then Brandon and I are going to come back for Patreon and riff over some new track. And Adam is very sad to be missing that. Mm-hmm. Don't you see the single tear coming down his face?
Tear.
Oh my god, I loved it when you were like, "No, I already did that once. I don't want to. I don't need to do that again."
Yeah.
You won't even talk about it.
No.
It's so good.
I mean, yeah, I kind of enjoyed the last parts of the last 2 seasons of that show more than I did the first 2 in some ways, because at least it was way off in the future. But the reveal in the 3rd season is the dumbest thing I've ever seen.
I can't wait.
It is so stupid.
Because we didn't get that far. You and I got to like 5 or 6 and stopped.
Mm-hmm. It's awful. It is so. I can't even talk about it.
Yeah, I haven't even gotten to Unification 3 yet.
I don't even remember what happens in that.
And
I remember that was a title that they thought they were being real cute with, but I don't remember what the heck happened.
They did that. And I was like, oh no. But I have a friend that was like, I don't know how you haven't jumped ship already, but we're like, that was the last straw. Whereas like, apparently there's something so cynical in that a friend of mine that will watch anything Star Trek couldn't deal with it anymore. And I was like, wow.
The line must be drawn here.
Here.
All right, where are you going? Thanks a lot for watching, folks.
We have to rate
the episodes?
Oh, do we have to rate them?
Yeah.
I forgot all about that part. Sorry, I don't even know how to run my own friggin' show. Well, let's do that real briefly because we do have to move on to another show. Yeah, we've talked about him enough. Next time, if it's not a two-parter, we'll rate the first episode after we watch it. Sorry about that. That was dumb. So let's go round robin and let's just rate them both at the same time. Adam, you go ahead and start. Thanks for reminding me to do that, Brandon.
Adam and I said it at the same time.
Now I feel foolish.
I think I'd rate the Dr. Bashir, I presume. I think I put that as, I guess, maybe a 3.5. But that last one, I probably put as a 1.
Yeah, we didn't even keep our attention.
No.
Adam, I agree with you full stop. I would have said 1.5 maybe for that second episode. I'm somewhere between a 1 and a 1.5. But Dr. Bashir, I presume, like I said, that's top 10 material. That's a 3.5.
I'm actually with Adam. I had 3.5 and 1 in my head already. So.
Oh wow, we're in complete consensus, folks.
Let's never revisit this episode ever
Again.
Unless we forget,
what it is.
Well, what is this episode? Oh, darn it!
Oh gosh.
Oh no, it's Wooden Brick Lady.
Yeah.
It's the Net Girl.
The Net Girl.
Anyway,
they should have had a shot of her like doing some virtual reality thing or something like that with like a big thing.
Yeah, that's what they should have done.
She's the Net Girl.
Anyway, we'll see you again in a couple of weeks, folks, for 2 more episodes of DS9 in sequence, going through the Dominion War. In the meantime, I was Captain Logan, and we got Brandon Grimm.
We have me.
And Adam Meredith. And join Brandon and I in about 10 minutes if you're so inclined, or watch after the fact if you're so inclined. Get on Patreon, patreon.com/geekvolution. We'll see you later. Bye, everybody.
Bye.